Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, you know what? I'm tired of being out of the loop, so let's go ahead and circle back. And you know, the main reason I was hesitant to do this is because, having never played past Act 2 before, I have no idea how many navigation points we're supposed to save in the long run. But that said, it does turn out that that project we did back on Dargonis, the one that drastically reduced our security, did provide a discount for all new routes. Otherwise, I might not have actually done it, because the default cost is 3 points. But, you know, that upgrade really does give you something to root for. So, yeah, I guess we'll go back to our original plan. We'll finish our pass through Winterscale's territory, push for Muro 79 to find out what our mysterious hidden treasure there might be, and ultimately try to leave ourselves poised right on Dargonis' doorstep. Though, that said, we will tempt fate on this run. We still need like 1,500 rep worth of cargo to get those last few Kaspelikan projects going, so hopefully one or two more jumps should do it. Fingers crossed. A catastrophe in the Omnissiah's hallowed halls. One of the few magi assigned by the machine cult to serve in the Von Valancia ship has lost his mind. Singing distorted binaric liturgies, the heretic has broken the sacred code rhythms and turned the ship's machines against the rest of the crew. The superstitious voidsmen are paralyzed with fear before the mad servant of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Only the Lord Captain can stand against the madman. To battle! Ooh, interesting. I'm not sure I've seen this one before. A rogue Mechanicus Magi. So I guess like Servitors and Servo Skulls plus one Tech Priest tucked all the way in back for support. This will also be a good chance to try out all those various new talents and trinkets we just picked up. I'm particularly curious about Adira's new Spirit Drape, though I suppose mid-warp's probably not the best time to try it.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
But we will, because I am a fool. Oh, there we go. So, Servitors, yeah, nothing to really worry about there. Oh, and a turret. Okay. That might be a slight concern. At least until we built up like 20 past hack stacks. Let's go ahead and kick things off. We'll get a better look at the battlefield once all has been revealed.
I see your darkened colors.
There's our Tech Priest, tucked in back. Plus a supercharged turret. And no Servo Skulls, but a ton of Servitors. Yeah, nothing to really worry about here. Honestly, I think our biggest danger is going to be me going completely ham with Adira's powers. We'll poise our snipers to take out the Tech Priest early. We'll get Pascal on this first turret pretty much immediately. Which I guess leaves the right side for Abby's Servitor de Force. He should be able to hold those guys back pretty easy. Hopefully we've got Veil at half instead of full, but we'll see momentarily. Adira up first. And yeah, we're at half Veil, so let's immediately push our luck. Though I suppose I should have started her closer to Abby. My bad. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Will do.
Wow, so the Spirit Drape, yeah, that is pretty great. Honestly, that makes me want to give her more buff abilities in the future. We're pretty good with the attacks she already has, but I'll take a look at her options moving forward. I do think our next power will be regen, though. That's just a nice one to have under our belt.
Was that you? Or...
Alright, hold. And Cass.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Finish propping up Abby. And let's go ahead and kick him into the fray. Get him right up front, stymie their advance. My goodness, he is practically radioactive there. I'm sure it's fine.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Alright, Pask. Let's get Pastak going. That's a modest 7 stacks. Set kill zone. Debuff turret. And just start whaling. Nearly it. Let's slap down a trap, slow these guys down. Check lines of sight. No clear shots at the tech priest. Yeah, that works. Oh, or not. Okay, fair enough. We'll start trimming down his bodyguard. Might get lucky with some punch through. Oof. That nerf on exposed weakness is pretty rough. Nice, nice. Combat log's broken. That is less nice. Yeah, we'll just close that. Nice. Trap doing its job. And Abby. Lay waste, bud. You know, maybe I should give him the cloak we just got. The one that grants the stacking plus 3% dodge per friendly buff or ability used on him. If it is, it might actually be worth doing. I'll double check that later. Oh. Right. So, Tech Priest at half. Let's go for another 6% damage buff.
Make it happen.
Oh, whiffed. But a surprisingly effective glance on that turret. Yeah, we'll take it. Abby holding up nicely. Let's prop up Pask. So far, so good. No significant lashback. Cast back up. Let's go for the kill on that Tech Priest. Might as well bank another damage boost while we're at it. And Tech Priest out. With spillover on the turret and momentum. Ooh, yeah, let's go for this one. Nice. Turret 1 out. And hemorrhage. We'll just go for whoever.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Honestly, with the Tech Priest and the one of the two turrets already out, there's not much left on the field that can really do any damage to us.
My vow is to serve.
At this point, we're really just flexing.
Functions successfully terminated.
Let's start whittling down on right. You got this, bud. Keep on keeping on. Let's drop the hammer. Ooh, that wasn't bad at all. Nah, Abby's got that.
On it. The best defense is a good offense.
Wow. Nice. Not sure why he did a full sweep there, but it certainly speeds things up.
But of course.
Let's go for bleed over. Wrap this up. Oh, so close. There we go. That moves things along. And again. Lure the last one in. And momentum. Oop. Yeah, that's fine. Finish off the turret. Which, now that I think about it, hasn't actually fired a single shot this entire fight. So either we've gotten lucky with its line of sight, or the Tech Priest just never had a chance to get it up and running. Maybe that's what he would have done if we hadn't killed him on turn 2. Moot point now. Turret out. And yeah, just whittle down the last two holdouts. Let's pull this guy out into the open. Oh, okay. Fair enough. We'll just kill your buddy first. Oh. But that's fine. That's fine. And then there was one. Though I don't think Adira can do much of anything against this guy. Yeah, no reason to tempt fate, just hang back. We've got plenty of other firepower on the field. Speaking of which, Paul? And Paul. Oh, for goodness sake. Seriously? We literally just pulled him into a spot we can't see him in. You know what? That's fine. We've got Pask up next, so he can shut this down. And thus it ends. Sorry, my misfit Mechanicus. You really should have tried teching things out. And wow, yeah, okay, so not really much in the way of bonus loot on this one, but I have to imagine we did get a fair chunk of XP at least. Yeah, I'll just assume that's right. Let's just do a quick sweep around the edges, make sure we're not missing anything obvious. Caches or stashes or potential lore objects. See, that is one thing that does kind of throw me, because we did get that random lore object on like our second or third random encounter. But no, I guess we're clear. That errant lore book really feels like a random fluke. No new routes. Let's see what we got. Okay, traces of a space battle. That's got to be our Aeldari. Though I notice this planet also has its name in yellow. Point of interest. The cogitator screen highlights the shapes of several buildings. This small settlement, the only one on the planet, is a winter-scale dynasty outpost. And just by virtue of being in Winterscale's realm, I imagine they're in some degree of distress, so there's our inn. After a lengthy descent to the planet, you are rewarded with a dismal sight. The entire outpost consists of long columns of uniform bunkhouses, machine hangars, and a large headquarters topped with a massive antenna of an ancient boxcaster. The binary suns hanging in the sky make every object cast two shadows, a spectacle you find vaguely disturbing. The custodian and his people go out of their way to give the esteemed guest a proper reception, but their resources are scarce at best. The custodian shares alarming news. The outpost is highly dependent on various deliveries from the core Winterscale worlds, but 2 ships have already failed to arrive on schedule. The locals do not have an astropath of their own, so the custodian cannot determine the cause of the delays or request aid. The outpost will soon run out of food at this rate, so the custodian sends an urgent request for provisions. He is begging you for help, offering what little his settlement has in exchange. Oh, no need to beg. I'm happy to help. And as aforementioned, this does give us a nice excuse to exploit the sector. The custodian showers you with gratitude and hurries to send gifts in return. The formerly grim and worried faces of his men light up with relief. Oh, a needle rifle. That was the premium sniper weapon back in Necromunda. Though obviously everything is relative. A needle rifle is much less grand a prize for a rogue trader than it is for a lowly hive ganger. Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, I'm not really seeing this as being terribly competitive. One sec, we'll get a gander at the numbers. Oh, hey, okay. Nice, that's actually some halfway decent cargo. The return journey treats you to a rare and unexpected spectacle. An eclipse begins as one of the 2 local suns covers the other. You watch as the temperature drops, the lighting changes, and the double shadows vanish. The 2 disks in the sky merge, forming a shimmering oval, and then becoming one. Eventually, the fantastic event passes, leaving behind a vivid memory. Though I imagine it gets quite frustrating if you actually live there. Oh yeah, see. That's a significant drop-off on damage, though we do get much higher armor pen, though armor pen is less relevant when you're doing 2/3 base damage. Much lower accuracy bonus too, though. Though I imagine there is some sort of toxic shot debuff. I'll have to equip it later just to get a peek at that. I mean, I sincerely doubt it makes up for the shortfall in damage and accuracy, but I will at least check it out. Man, that binary star does look cool. Pass on the plasteel. And space battle. Lord Captain, there's evidence of a recent scuffle straight ahead of us. Throne take me, this is not a frigate. This is just a gutted piece of metal. The helmsman falls silent for a moment. Blimey, the culprits are here too. It's the Aeldari freaks! I recognize their shiny asses even from this distance. Except, the Xenos are acting suspiciously. They're hovering in place and not even trying to run. Should we approach or open fire from a distance? I'm going to say approach. Juliet? Call off your people, Alantak. Something is wrong. The children of Asaurion are dismayed, but doing something like this to a monkey vessel? No, we are not animals. I appeal to your prudence and the promise you made. Do not destroy my kin for the deeds they did not commit. Lord Captain, we have received a report from the Augur crew. The situation is unusual. The Xenos ship displays no biological or energetical signatures, even though it appears to be intact. According to the scanners, there is nobody on board. However, survivors are believed to be hiding in one of the compartments of the damaged vessel of the Imperium. We have also spotted some drifting plating remains that belong to a third, unidentified vessel. Let's not jump to any conclusions. We'll get a closer look at that wreckage before we start picking sides. The Voxmaster relays the order to the tech priests and promptly receives a reply. Lord Captain, I am reporting that the hull fragments belong to the Drukhari Xenos race, but the presence of their ships in the system at this time has not been confirmed. Right, so there's our aggressors. Send a squad out to the Aeldari ship. After several hours of tedious waiting, Vigdis gets back on the air. Lord Captain, the scouts confirm our earlier report. The Xenos ship is intact. Many valuable artifacts have been found inside, but neither the Aeldari nor their bodies were discovered. Interesting. We are late again, Alantak. Juliet's voice sounds faint and almost listless. Yeah, that does seem to be the trend. Vigdis, send out another shuttle, pick up those survivors. It will be done. Vigdis flips the switches on the Vox system's cogitator, and the transmission goes quiet for a while. Interesting. Lord Captain, the scouts managed to rescue several emaciated officers from the wrecked ship. Despite their wounds, they were able to tell us what had happened. During a patrol, the frigate discovered an Aeldari ship crossing the system, and decided to immediately attack the enemies of humanity. The Xenos vessel proved too fast and skittish, but at one point its engines failed, giving the frigate a chance to attack. Right. When the guns were aimed, several Drukhari ships suddenly pounced from the darkness. At first they attacked from a distance, but soon boarded the frigate and wreaked a bloody massacre on the decks. It is only by sheer miracle that the surviving officers managed to escape, locking themselves up in a hidden technical compartment that the Xenos had no use for. The survivors claim that the Xenos conspired and deliberately led the ship into a trap, where it met its doom. The Xenos joined forces to eliminate a vessel of the Imperium? An alliance between the Aeldari and Drukhari is an unusual sight, and yet such an outcome is hardly surprising. Why, Master Interrogator, I was thinking exactly the same thing. At last, you and I can finally agree on something. How blind are the Monkey to the vices of their own kind. Humans attack a ship of the children of Asaurion sailing peacefully by, but it is my kinspeople who are to blame? Juliet is beside herself with contempt and rage. No, my kind would not willingly take part in a massacre orchestrated by the Dark Ones and then abandon their ship. Something else happened here. Something I am afraid to even consider. Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. I'm not exactly an Eldari or Drukhari expert, but I am fairly certain the two factions are nigh incompatible. More likely they were just taken by the Drukhari, or possibly by something even worse. Oh, poor Yurliet. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the trend here. I imagine every single group of Eldari we stumble across will already be dead or gone. Then again, now that we know the Drukhari were involved in this particular incident, it does potentially open the door to finding surviving Eldari in Drukhari captivity. The whispers have gone wild. We should go back into orbit. They're just muttering about who knows. It doesn't even sound like human language. Oh, I do not want to know what happened to this world. Duly noted. On to the next. Point of interest. The storm to end all storms. The crew were treated to a truly impressive sight. A colossal storm on the gas giant's surface. The planet's dimensions in themselves were mind-boggling, and then it birthed a tempest. The storm to end all storms. As the Lord Captain and his officers observed it from a safe distance through the bridge's huge viewing windows, someone suggested giving it a name. And the Emperor's wrath garnered the most votes. Some in the crew believed the storm to be an omen. Well, let's just hope it's an omen of great things to come. And nothing. So, sector clear. 2 points of interest, no notable resources, plus a story event. Not too shabby. Actually, that may have just given us enough resources to get those last few colony projects going. You know what? We're actually pushing time, so I don't think we can risk traveling right now. But let me go check in with Danrock real quick. We'll see if we can collect a few prizes and maybe get some new projects going. One sec. And we're back. Yes, we had just barely enough. Not only did we finally reach the lofty heights of rep required for those projects, but we also can now collect several new prizes, including the calibrated heavy stubber, just in time for all those nerfs on heavy weapons. But more notably, we also picked up the self-calibrating goggles, which add a stun effect to single target attacks. And you know, as much as I like rocking those cool new shades I just put on, a chance to stun on every attack is pretty fantastic. I think we're going to swap those out pretty much immediately. We also pulled the Warp Guide Staff, a Potency 9 infusing staff for Cassia, which is of somewhat limited use considering it would only trigger off of her Reveal the Light ability. But it does provide slightly higher stat bonuses, and we would theoretically still get more use out of that than we do her current staff. But really, honestly, our big get here are those stun goggles. I mean, there is zero reason for us not to equip those immediately. That's 2 potential stuns every single round. Though at least we did get some use out of the interrogation goggles. The turret ambush, Grantis. Looks halfway decent. Yeah, I can live with that. And then as for Cassie, Yeah, I think we should go ahead and swap them. That devastating effect does sound really tempting, but the thing is we just don't have the ability loadout to really make use of it. At least for the time being. I do have plans to pick up at least 1 or 2 more attack powers later down the line. Oh, right. Yeah, Argenta's still flagging on levels. I've got to get her shored up, but no great rush. And then, yeah, as far as our colonies go, the Kaspelika have finally come around, so we can get these projects going. Starting with Rose of Samarkand. The clandestine cultivation of a xenoplant that feeds on the blood of serfs will allow the production of hallucinogenic poisons that contaminate the victim's genes. Which, you know, in retrospect is actually slightly more horrifying than I remember it being, but we'll assume it doesn't actually kill the serfs that they're using as a food supply. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's probably how it works. And then on Dargonis, we've got Kaspelikan Auction. The Kaspelika mission is ready to run a secret auction on Dargonis with illegal lots, provided the rogue trader's dynasty guarantees its protection. Of course, by all means, we are a trading hub, are we not? So that cost us a chunk of our newly obtained Xeno artifacts. But then in exchange, we pick up the Ashen Breath, a unique Aldari Melta. So a potential offhand weapon for Yurliet. And then a hefty profit boost. And yet more rep with the Kaspelika. And then, you know what, we'll go ahead and get this one going too while we're at it. I will note, we have expressly built several other living facilities at this point. Surface domes plus the out-of-prison settlement, so the workers are not forever sealed underground. And that's it for colony stuff for the moment, but yeah, I think that brings us to a slightly better stopping point. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of some other additional bookkeeping off screen, and we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Was that you? Or